Welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks, everyone. The Thursday evening edition. Here we go. We're less than, 48 hours? Closer to 36 hours away from our snowstorm, and this promises to be a doozy, one we're going to remember for quite some time. Before we get to the weekend storm, and we've got plenty to say about that, I did want to talk some about this evening's light snow that's pushing in. I'm keeping an eye on, the radar, the air temperatures, and the road temperatures as well. We're able to import some road sensor temperatures into our graphics system here, and road sensors, the road surface temperatures are pretty cold. The air temperatures are not much different than these ground temperatures. So yes, the snow can stick this evening, especially on untreated surfaces, side roads, a lot of our major thoroughfares. Because the snow is going to be pretty light, I would expect most of our major roads to be okay, but still use some caution if you happen to be traveling somewhere throughout the valley over the next several hours. We are not expecting any problems later on tonight, aside from just an isolated patch of ice here and there. Temperatures, again, upper 20s to around 30. This is where we'll be all night. Temperatures will hardly move all night tonight. Here's a look outside as of 7:06 this evening along 422 and Niles. If you look carefully, you can see the snow falling from the street lights there. It's pretty light, and as you can see, the road just looks pretty wet. But in parking lots, 7 p.m., some light snow pushing in. Even where you're not seeing some blue, this is probably some very light snow falling out into the Sharon, Newcastle, and Mercer areas. And then it picks up a little bit in intensity throughout the heart of our television viewing area. Radar loop, again, a little after 7 p.m. Some light to moderate snow continues pushing east. So what you see is what you get this evening. Again, I'm expecting this to taper off by about midnight. All right, our weekend storm, we're close enough to it now that the National Weather Service did hoist some winter storm watches for a big chunk of real estate here. Some people asked me earlier today, why hasn't the Weather Service issued a watch just yet? Well, there's criteria on these things, and typically they try not to violate those criteria. And one of those criteria is lead time before the beginning of a storm. It's pretty rare that they'll issue some sort of a product like this more than 48 hours from the onset of a winter weather event. So we're within 48 hours now. So yeah, Weather Service hoisted the watch. Goes into effect very early Saturday morning and runs all the way through Sunday and into Sunday night. During the day Sunday, again, we're not expecting much additional accumulation during the day Sunday, but there will be blowing and drifting, reducing the visibility once again. Here's where our storm is right now. It's impacting the west coast with rain and heavy mountain snow out along the west coast. It's going to take a couple of days to traverse the whole country, and so we've got a day to prepare tomorrow, a quiet day tomorrow with a lot of clouds around. Now, the models keep cluing on to this idea that, first thing Saturday morning, you might wake up and see it snowing already and think, oh my gosh, the storm is starting earlier than we thought. Not so fast on that. This could give us some light coatings, but this is just a kind of a little precursor. We're going to get into a drier slot, it looks like, for most of the morning, and most of this early morning snow is probably up towards I-90, but it's something I can't rule out here locally. You're going to know it. It's going to start snowing pretty hard. Conditions are going to deteriorate quickly. The roads will go bad in a hurry. Late afternoon and especially after dark into the evening. Thumping snow all evening and into parts of the overnight. And then the steady snow is long gone by, daybreak on Sunday. Maybe some flurries, and we'll have to watch for some pesky lake effect bands here and there Sunday. But I don't think we're looking at much additional accumulation during the daylight hours on Sunday. So as far as the timing of things, again, aside from that little very early morning little preview that some of us might get, especially in the north, the storm itself really pushes in by about midday or early afternoon. I'm expecting the highest snowfall rates to occur generally between, say, 4 p.m. and 3 a.m. in that 10 to 12 hour window. There could be times in which the snow is accumulating at a pace of a half an inch to even up to an inch per hour. I wouldn't expect that kind of rate to occur every hour, but there will be some hours that is the rate. And so, that's going to make for some really tough sledding across the region. If we've been talking about this. If you don't have to travel second half of Saturday into Saturday night, just don't. I understand, some people have to get to work. They don't have a choice. But if you don't have to be anywhere, just hunker down and don't be out on the roads. Let the plow drivers take care of this. Give them plenty of room if you happen to be out. But it's going to be pretty terrible out there by Saturday evening into the overnight. On Sunday. Here's a look at our model spread for Trumbull into Mahoning counties. The green line is the RPM. It dives like this because the RPM only runs out through Sunday morning. That's more of a short-term model, so graphically it takes a nosedive, but just ignore that. What we want to focus on are these two boxes here, Saturday and Saturday night. And right now a model spread of generally, say, 7 to about 10, 11 inches is shown here. These are all based on 10-to-1 ratios for the most part. I think our ratios are going to be higher, so you can probably bump these up a little bit farther. And, I think in the vast majority of places that are near the Youngstown area, if you can watch us on TV, even if you're in an adjacent county to our television viewing area, so, Canton, Akron, up to Beulah, over to Beaver and Lawrence counties in PA, we're all kind of in a similar boat here. I do think that amounts are going to be pretty similar across a large chunk of real estate, and I think a lot of places are going to be closer to a foot than 9 inches. I've got a 9 to 12 inch range in most places. There's still a box of uncertainty down here, especially just south of our TV viewing area and closer to Wheeling, Steubenville, and Pittsburgh. Still can't rule out some mixed precipitation for a time Saturday evening down there, but I think it's less and less likely that that's going to impact southern Columbiana County. I can't rule it out. That's why I still have a sliver of somewhat lower totals down towards East Liverpool, Glenmore, Calcutta, over towards Salineville. But, don't put too much stock into that. Even if you do get a couple of hours where it tries to sleet, a little freezing rain, I think you still have no trouble getting at least 7 or 8 inches down here, if not more. Again, for the vast majority of us, we've got a 9 to 12 range. I like the 12 a little more than the 9 in most places. Does it matter? No. In the grand scheme of things, as far as impacts go and everything, there's not much difference between 10 inches of snow and 12 inches of snow, really. The impacts are going to be the same. It's a lot of snow. It's going to be a problem. It's going to, pretty much shut down our entire area for a time, Saturday evening through early Sunday morning. Talked about the snow ratios. Now, when the snow gets underway on Saturday, our snow-to-liquid ratios are probably a little closer to the typical range in the 10 to 12 to 1 range. But as the air turns dramatically colder overnight and it still snows, those ratios are going to go up. The snow is going to get fluffier and fluffier. And so by late Saturday night, and then whatever residual, flakes and maybe a lake effect snow shower that meanders somewhere around the region, whatever that happens on Sunday, the ratios are going to be high, 18, maybe even 20 to 1. When you've got air temperatures in the mid-teens, that's very dry and cold air, and so the ratios are going to be quite a bit higher. Now that's good news for snow blowers. A lot of times when we have a heavy snow event and it's a wet snow, that stuff gets like cement and it can clog up your snow blower. Don't think we'll have that problem this time. Plentiful snow, but not the kind that's going to be super hard to remove with your snow blower. There's going to be a lot of snow. If you don't have a snow blower and find yourself shoveling, boy, take breaks, be careful. We did a report at 6, and this is pretty commonly known, but especially people whose health is, borderline or a little questionable, a lot of people have heart attacks shoveling snow. Now, this isn't going to be heavy, goopy, wet snow, but it's going to be a lot of snow. And so, if you're not super physically fit, be careful out there when you're removing this weekend. All right, as far as our confidence goes, it's gone up. No surprises. We've gotten closer to the start of the storm. Storm track medium to high confidence. Storm timing, really, we've had high confidence of this for days now. Precipitation type, medium to high. For the vast majority of it, this is just a snowstorm. Just rule out east Liverpool up to maybe Newcastle and points south and east. I can't rule out a period Saturday evening where we try to get into some sort of a mix. Can't rule that out just yet. Snow amounts, medium to high confidence on this. High confidence that we're going to get pummeled here. This is going to be a big storm. In most of our TV viewing area and surrounding areas, 6 to 9 inches is just about a mortal lock. Most places will have 6 inches probably by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock Saturday evening, maybe 9 o'clock. That's a mortal lock. A half a foot is pretty much in the bank everywhere. It's just a matter of who tries to get a foot, and I think a lot of places are going to try. But again, the impacts will be about the same either way. Then we turn our attention to the wind and the wind chills. Boy, Sunday afternoon is going to be nasty. Wind chills like this and winds gusting to 30, perhaps 35 to 40. That's just going to be no fun at all. So, it's a lot of snow. The kids are going to want to play outside in this. Wouldn't recommend it on Sunday unless they are really super layered up. I mean, it is really cold out. And Monday morning, wind chills will be nothing to shake a stick at all. Some teens below 0 in some spots. Monday afternoon, the wind relaxes as high pressure pays us a visit, so the air temperature and the wind chill won't be too far apart Monday afternoon, thanks to the wind relaxing. Air temperatures will probably slide a little below zero Monday night. We've got a low of -2 in the forecast for Monday night with a clear sky for parts of the night. Once the sun sets Monday evening, bang, I mean, it's going to turn really cold in a hurry. We'll probably drop below zero before midnight in a lot of spots Monday night. Temperatures may rise along with those wind chills late Monday night into Tuesday morning as some clouds try to roll in. This looks really cold in the longer range. End of January into early February. This is going to remind us, I think, some of those winters of 2013, 2014, and 2014, 2015, where we had a pattern like this that lasted for a chunk of the winter, especially into February, and it was brutal. This reminds me of that the overall pattern at the end of January and into February. Now, will it get as cold as some of our days and nights back in those harsh winters 5 years ago? I'm not sure about that yet, but the pattern looks very, very interesting as far as cold goes here as we get set to head into the final third of meteorological winter. I'll have another update on 21 News at 11 tonight, and here on social media and my blog and everywhere else you can find me on the app. We'll, of course, be providing lots of updates this evening throughout the course of Friday and as the storm gets underway on Saturday.